my question is for Megan. Has your husband given you any advice for flying Dragon? Thanks.
So my husband, as you know, also flew the Crew Dragon last year as part of the demonstration mission and happened to be in the same seat that I'll be in. And actually, I had several years really of learning from him along the way as they developed the vehicle. And then as I went through training, really had kind of a framework to put some of that information. So there's not one specific thing. It's really just been a series of tidbits along the way.
So the next question that we have is Gina Sanseri from ABC News.
Good morning, everyone. You're launching on Earth Day with luck. What's the significance of that when you go into orbit? And we'll look back at our planet for those of you who've been there before.
Hey, it's a great question. Thanks a lot. It means a lot to us because I think we all care individually about the Earth, obviously, but also I think our agencies are at the forefront of the fight to protect the environment. It's only by going into space that we've been able to kind of take a step back and really measure all those variables that enable the scientists to conclude on what's happening to the planet. So it's really thanks to the work of the satellites, thanks to the work of the agencies, that today we're in a position to assess the health of the planet and try to make it better. So I think we're part of that fight. I think we care individually, and our agencies care. So I think it's a great symbol that as a crew we launch on Earth Day because it means a lot to us.
Thanks, Thomas. All right, let's go to Joey Roulette from The Verge.
Hey, thank you. Question for the whole crew. I was wondering if you guys have received your COVID vaccines, and if so, when was that, and how did that go? Thanks.
Yeah, we all received vaccines, and I guess it went fine. We all have a little bit different reactions, just like most people do, so we're no different in that regard, but we're thankful that we have the vaccines.
Our next question is from Kenneth Chang of the New York Times.
Oh, thanks. Joey just asked me a question. But who just answered previously?
That was Shane Kimbrough.
Great, thank you.
All right, we'll take this moment to take another question from social media. We have let's see here. From @DavidChaddon2, what are the astronauts looking forward to the most?
That's a great question. First of all, I think we're looking forward to riding on the Crew Dragon. It's a brand new spacecraft, and it looks fabulous. We got to see the outside the other day at the pad, so we're looking forward to actually riding it and flying on it. And then once we're on space station, we got so many different science EVAs and visiting vehicles coming and going. So there's a variety of activities going on, and we're looking forward to working all that.
That definitely sounds exciting, Aki. So we have, let's see, we actually have quite a few questions. This is for Megan. Can you explain your boots?
Well, I don't know if I can explain them, but I can show them off again. They're pretty great. I think, it's been a difficult year for everyone, and I decided that I needed a little bit of extra sparkle. They just bring me a lot of joy, and I think it's fun to wear them.
All right, we have another question coming in from social media. What has been the most exciting part of your training so far?
Let's see, the most exciting for me and probably the others too is working with SpaceX. It's something new to all of us and just trying to figure out that dynamic. And it's been really great working with their teams. They're really fantastic, super smart, very motivated. So me, that's been very exciting. And then just getting to know these folks a little better and kind of living and working with them over the past year as we trained has been very exciting as well.
All right, so our next question from the phone will be Bill Harwood.
Yeah, hi guys. This is a question for Megan. you have a zero-G toy on board this flight for your son? And has he said anything about having two parents who fly in space occasionally? Thanks.
Thanks, Bill. Our crew will have a zero-G indicator that we chose together. We have a couple of sons, several sons and a couple of daughters that belong to this mission. So our families have chosen a zero-G indicator that you'll see once we reach zero-G. And my son, I think for him, it's just everybody's parents are astronauts. He takes it into stride.
All right, so we have another question from the phone. Mark Avegno.
Hi, thank you very much for taking my question. How has the training process specifically for Dragon missions been refined as a result of lessons learned from the previous two missions? And have the crews in Demo 2 and Crew 1 given y'all any advice other than the launch sounds already mentioned by Megan?
Yeah, I'll start it off and other folks can jump in. We're really the first crew, even though two crews have gone before us, we're the first ones that have gone through what they hope to be kind of the templated flow for future crews. So a little less than a year of training, where the crews in front of us had several years of training. And so instead of it being more developmental, it's more operational now. And so they tried to fit within a year all of the SpaceX training along with the International Space Station training and our trips overseas that go along with that, tried to crunch it all in. And I think it's a pretty decent place now. It'll just continue to get refined as we go on with future missions.
Thank you, Shane, for that. So we have a couple questions coming in from social media. This one is from @Liam Perry. Do you have anything to say to the next generation of astronauts?
Yeah, so first of all, there's a couple national selections going on there. I know there's one in Europe. Japan is going to have one soon. There's one in the U.S. happening as we speak. So it's good. I mean, we're excited. We would like to see new people coming in, fresh faces. We have a lot of flights, on the books for the years to come. We have the space station that's going to be around for a lot more time, and then we have the next phase. We're going forward to the moon as an international corporation, so we'll need a new generation of astronauts for this. So my first advice, really, and probably the most important, is just apply. Don't censor yourself. So the most selective phase of the selection is probably where or not you're going to apply, because then after this you have one chance in 10,000 maybe, but only one person in a million is going to apply. So that's actually the most selective part. So just do it, go out there, do your best, and you never know. You might be sitting in those chairs one day.
I was always hoping I was in one of those chairs. Let's see, we have one more from social media. What scientific experiments will you be conducting?
So we have a lot of different experiments in various fields, but one thing that I'm looking forward to is testing out some equipment for, like Tomas said, for the moon, Gateway or Artemis programs. So like water recycling and other Eclipse systems. That's something that we're looking forward to.
Okay, we'll take another question from the phone line. This is from Amy Thompson of space.com.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my question. So I believe yesterday afternoon you guys got to see your rocket on the pad, so I was just kind of wondering, what was that like? How exciting was it? That sort of thing. Thank you.
Well, as we were pulling up to it, we were giggling. I think we were all just like, we can't believe that's our rocket and that's our spacecraft right there. It was not in the vertical position. It was kind of halfway when we pulled up to the pad, and so that was really neat to see it go from there all the way to the vertical position and then see the crew arms swing out. It was pretty special. Little did we know, shortly after that, we were allowed to go up to the 255-foot level and then climb a few more stairs to get to the level that we're going to walk out on Thursday. So that was really special to be that close, see our spacecraft, and think of all the amazing people that made it happen.
Okay, another social media question. So this is from @Jacqueline Irving. For Crew-2 astronaut Pesquet, what would you like to say to aspiring astronauts from Europe, and what does Crew-2 mean to ESA?
I think it means a lot. for ESA as an agency, because we've been part of the ISS program for 20 years now, and we intend to be part of what's coming next. And I think this commitment to human spaceflight that we're making with the ISS program, this commitment that we've made with the Artemis program, just says a lot about how Europe wants to be part of the next step. Europe wants to be a reliable partner together with Japan, the US, Russia, Canada, for what's going to happen in the future. So I think if you're an aspiring astronaut today, like I said, there's a selection coming up, and if you're too young, then try to think of it. Try to think what's going to give you the best chances. Pick a career, into science, math, engineering. That's still the best path, but you can also be a pilot. You can be a medical doctor. There's a lot of different paths that are going to lead you to being an astronaut. So I think the future is bright for human spaceflight in general. I think the present is the golden age of human spaceflight. There's never been that much time spent on orbit, that many different vehicles flying to space or about to fly to space, and I think the future is even brighter. So I would say put all the chances on your side, and it'll be good.
Thanks, Thomas. So we have one for Aki. What does it feel like to leave Earth, especially with the many spacecraft that you've done that with?
So for Shane and I, it's going to be the third spacecraft we're leaving Earth with. So we both flew on the space shuttle and the Soyuz spacecraft. So this will be our third kind. I guess we're looking forward to the rumble and the sensation, all the G's pushing on our chests. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like Shane said, we were just giggling, just looking at the rocket, but actually riding it, it's going to be like a great ride.
That definitely sounds like a fun ride. One more question from social media before we head back to the phone line. What does it feel like to leave Earth? This is from Ria.
Megan will answer too on this one. It really feels amazing. And a slogan that you probably heard a lot is we go off the Earth for the Earth, and I always think about that because leaving the Earth it's an incredible sensation, first of all, but when we get up there, we're doing some really incredible work for everybody here on Earth. So it's really special to be a part of something that's that big, and it's very humbling to be a part of something like that's going to help people and all humanity. So the sensation's great. When we get to the space station, we know we're going to be doing incredible things for all the people around the world. So that's really exciting for me.
Okay, so the next question from the phone line is from Joey Roulette from The Verge.
Hey, thanks for taking my question again. Question for Akihiko and Thomas. ESA and JAXA are obviously big partners in the Artemis program. And I was wondering, will anything you two plan to do on this mission inform your own agency's roles in that program? And for each of you, do you ever expect to actually fly to the moon under that program? Thanks.
First of all, I hope we can fly together to the moon, but we'll see about that. But we have so many things on our plate. We don't know where to start. But every single activity, every single experiment, every single operation, it leads to the Artemis and Gateway program. So we hope to accomplish our missions and just pave the way to Artemis and Gateway.
And yes, thanks for the question. I like those questions because it's always a good opportunity to assign Aki and to assign myself to fly to the moon. So thanks for that. But yeah, no, we have lots of experiments. I mean, two in particular that I can think of that they deal with some future scenarios of exploration where we'll have astronauts around Mars or the moon operating remotely rovers on the surface. So we have two of those experiments from ESA, at least on board the space station, that we're going to carry out to see how that plays out and how this from a controlled environment in the ISS could be applied to future scenarios of operation. So yeah, 50% of the experiments, or maybe not that much, but a high percentage of the experiments actually have exploration in mind. So we're fully geared and fully committed to the next phase of human spaceflight.
Okay, coming up, we have Martin Avegno.
Hi, thank you for taking my question again. I would like, this is for Aki and Thomas, are the two of you allowed to bring any of your native cuisine along with you for this expedition, or are you stuck with the regular ISS menu?
So I think some of the French cheese is actually not legal on the ISS, probably. But no, other than that, there's always, especially for ESA, every time an ESA astronaut who's flying, he takes along some food from his native country. So of course, I'm no exception. Had some national pressure to bring some good stuff, and also from my crewmates, they were like, "Okay, we're flying with a Frenchman; it better be good." So no, we've had some special dishes developed just for the mission, specifically for that. There's 6 of them. I don't want to spoil the surprise too much, but it's like 2 complete meals. I hope to have enough to share on some special occasions. But yeah, there's definitely be some really good food, and I know there's some Japanese food as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any sushi, but we do have some new Japanese food as well. Last time I flew, we had a bunch, but there's more newer food. So looking forward to that and sharing it with my crewmates.
Especially if you get that sushi, right? Okay, so the next question that we have from social media. So this year marks the 60th anniversary of Gagarin's flight. So for Thomas and Shane, you flew from Baikonur, now from Kennedy Space Center. What are the main differences between a Russian lead flight and an American one?
There's a few differences. But, you know, flying anywhere is amazing. And the experience we had in Baikonur and going through the Russian training was absolutely fantastic. The training flow was much longer, about 2 to 2.5 years. So that's one major difference. And like I mentioned earlier, ours has been about a year, just under a year. You know, for me, having flown out of Kennedy before, it's always great coming back here. I'm really thrilled to be launching off of U.S. soil again, which is fantastic. It'll be Thomas' first experience for that, so we're looking forward to seeing his excitement on launch day for sure. But there's so many differences, but there are a lot of similarities too, right? We have the amazing teams in the Baikonur and the Russian side that were getting the vehicle ready, that were training us, and we have the same thing here with SpaceX and NASA and the international partners. So, you know, human spaceflight kind of brings a lot of things together, and it's amazing to see what all these different organizations can do when you have a common goal.
And I'll completely second what Shane just said. I think it's, first of all, I think it's fantastic to have those two, you know, means of access to the ISS. Right now, we need both. We need an east road and a west road because, you know, whatever happens to one of these, then we still have the other one open. That just brings us that versatility and that reliability that we need in the ISS program. So it's just fantastic to have this available today. And yeah, there's lots of differences, lots of similarities. The good thing is, on the Soyuz side, they've been launching Soyuzes from Baikonur for so long that, you know, all the traditions are in place. It's very traditional. You know exactly how things are going to happen. Here at the Cape, it's all brand new. So even though there's some heritage from previous vehicles on the U.S. side, we still get to create some new traditions, which is really cool. One of them is, since we're flying reused boosters, they're kind of darkened by their previous re-entry, so we were lucky enough to kind of sorry, I didn't say that, to draw our initials in the suit on the side of the booster. I don't know if this is going to stick, but I found it really cool. So there's so many, I feel just so lucky to have been able to fly on different systems because, I mean, it's so much history, so much expertise, and meeting all these people is just fantastic.
All right, we're going to go back to the phone line. We have David Curley from Discovery.
Tomas kind of talked about this, but I think it's probably for Shane and Megan. You know, your astronaut classes were a long time ago. Things were slowing down on the shuttle, and there were theories and talk about what's happening now in commercial crew, and as Tomas mentioned, the pace is something. As a couple of astronauts who've been around for a while, did you think it was going to happen? Can you believe the pace? How are you feeling?
So you're right. I have been fortunate to be an astronaut for a number of years and to see the transition from the shuttle era into this new commercial crew program era. And then, of course, along the way, relying on our Russian partners to get us back and forth to space. So it's been tremendous to see this accomplishment that was achieved last year with Demo 2 to return the ability to launch to American soil. It's been really fantastic to see that and to really be able to watch it all along the way with the development of the cargo program and be a part of that as it developed. So really it's been, it maybe seems like it's taken a long time, but it's been a careful process and a lot of experience has been gained along the way. So I know we're all very excited to be a part of it now, and it's neat that there is, amongst these 4 crew members, the experience from 3 different vehicles, and we're really fortunate to get to draw on all of that for this upcoming mission.
All right, we'll take another phone question from Kenneth Chang of the New York Times.
Thank you. It's another question about astronaut food for Shane and Megan. I was just wondering if you had arranged for any special foods to have at the station.
We have, as you probably know, we have a standard menu we pick from, at least of NASA food, and then we have the opportunity to pick a few other different things that, I didn't really pick much that was different, so I'm going to rely on Aki and Tama to come through with a little variety for us up there. But the NASA food, actually, the variety on that is actually really great now. It has changed over the years, and it's pretty fantastic. So, and we get to share with our Russians as well, so we'll have a lot of different cuisines up there. We do get to send some kind of off-the-shelf things that we personally pick as well, so there's some of that kind of stuff coming up for us. Megan, you got anything special?
Well, just that one thing that I benefit from is that Bob, since he was there so recently, when he came home, he really told me, hey, variety is going to be key. Get hot sauces and different flavors that you want to, and things that you'll be able to share with your crewmates. So he was able to go to the store and buy some off-the-shelf items that he's planning to send up for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
Okay, we're going to go back to some social media questions from @MajorMajor42. What are those Mach 25 patches?
Well, only 3 of us have those, and it's a speed that we got to either in shuttle or Soyuz, the previous vehicles we flew, and I'll let Megan tell you about her special patch.
So the shuttle mission that I flew was to the Hubble Space Telescope, which is in a different orbit than the International Space Station. And in order to get there, you're going slightly faster at main engine cutoff, or MECO, than you would be if you were doing a station mission. So for the station missions, you cut off something like 25.9. And for the Hubble mission, we got to 26.08. So our commander had these special Mach 26 patches made for us when we got home.
Well, that's definitely a treat for y'all. That's amazing. So we have another one from social media from Wayward Plane. What's going through your minds as you're waiting for T-0?
I don't know. So we'll be, looking ahead at the timeline, thinking ahead, and making sure that we know what's coming, and if something happens, what to do. But on top of that, I think we're just gonna think about the joy ride, I guess. How much we're gonna enjoy that ride, and just anticipate that.
I'll add a little bit to that. So in the next few days, we have a little bit of training to do. We're obviously well trained and ready to go, but we'll refresh a few things. And then our families and guests will start showing up, so that's an exciting time. And we'll get to spend the last, at least parts of the last few days with them before we go.
All right, and this will be our last question. So what advice would you give to students or young people watching that may want to pursue a career in STEM? And I'm sure all of y'all have something to say about that.
Sure, I'll start off. I was given some great advice when I was a student who was aspiring to be an astronaut, and the advice that I was given was to figure out what it is that you love to do and then work to be really good at that thing. Because if you try to choose something you think is going to make you look good as a potential astronaut, but you don't love doing that thing, you're never going to be really good at it. So figure out what it is that you love to do and then put all your energy into excelling at that thing.
And one thing that I usually tell students is that no, I mean, everything is possible, right? Everything is possible. We live in a world at a time in societies where pretty much everything is possible, but nothing is easy, and it's very difficult to be confused between the two. It's not because it's possible to become an astronaut that it's easy, but it's the same with everything. It's completely okay to struggle. It's completely okay to have to work hard. I mean, we all had to work hard to become astronauts or engineers or scientists or pilots. It never came easy. At least it didn't come easy to me. So it's okay to struggle. It's okay to think that everything is difficult because that's how it's supposed to feel like. It's not something you should be afraid of, but it's really hard work that in the end pays off. And I didn't really know that when I was a kid, so I wish somebody had maybe told me in a little bit more specific terms. So now I'm trying to pass on the word of advice.
Thank you for advice. I'll take it for myself as well. So unfortunately, we are out of time for questions, and apologize if we didn't get to yours today. And since this is our last time to speak with the crew before the launch, we want to wish you good luck, and we will be cheering you on. Be sure to tune in for launch day on Thursday, April 22nd. Coverage begins at 2 a.m. Eastern Time on NASA TV and online at nasa.gov/live. Thank you so much for joining us today.